I had a conversation today with a fellow Canadian. I asked him, pro-Canadian, pro-American? Oh, fuck, pro-Canadian, he said, bro. I said, really? Okay, now let's talk about it. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, let's talk about the reality of Canada today. Let's talk about the taxation. How do you feel about the 66% capital gains tax? What are you talking about? You realize if you sell your house, it's $400,000 house, you give the government $270,000 and you get to keep $130,000. They're ripping you off. This is the real reason why people quit building houses in Canada. Because when a housing crisis came in, the Trudeau government increased capital gains taxes to 66%. And this is the true cause of the doubling of the cost of your housing, cost of homes, cost of living. What the Trudeau government, Liberal government, did was imposed an increased 66% from, I believe it was 27, 66% capital gains tax, which means my landlord is selling his house for $800,000. Capital gains tax. Let's make it an even million. Capital gains tax. He pays $660,000 to the government, and he keeps $340,000 for himself. So they take double what you get. They take 2/3 of your life savings through capital gains. Still pro-Canadian? Well, let's talk about it. I know people who made $100,000 last year. They did their taxes, paid their bills. Taxation was 30%, $28,000 in taxation, income tax payment. Oh, then there's GST and PST on top of that, which is another 16%. More, actually. I don't know what it is, 22. So that 30 and the 22 is 50. That's over 50% of your income gone to taxation through purchase or income taxes. And then what you do manage to squirrel away that 10% of everything that you got left for yourself. What you do manage to squirrel away, they take another 60% of that through capital gains. You want to talk about Canada being a good nation? It's not. Canada is economically raping its citizens every day. Not just the citizens who are workers, even the people who are not workers, not taxpayers, are paying too much tax. 30% of every dollar any person in Canada gets goes to goods and services, harmonized sales tax credit, GST, PST, HST. 30% of all Canadian money goes to GST, HST, PST, HST, GST. 30% of all Canadian money earned over $100,000 goes to taxation through income tax. 60% of your total overall income tied into your home gets taken by the government through income tax. So the government is a predatory government with a predatory banking system that is outright egregiously obvious. And yet our nation still gets away with it. I'm not pro-Canadian. No. Government of Canada can go anytime. I am pro-North American. I believe we should all be on the same dollar, whether we're recognized as sovereign states or not. And really, do I think we should become a 51st state? Probably not. I really think that we should all become individual sovereign nations. We are. We never amalgamated into a sovereign, one Canadian nation. We remain to be 12 individual states. That's why Trump's making this joke. We should put the borders back up. We should act like we're individual countries. We should acknowledge the extreme tariff from province to province and bring people up to the level of what criminality goes on between provinces to take your money through taxation and tariff without even speaking about America. We have 270% tariffs on American goods. 270% tariff on American cheese. So we have to buy block cheese for the rest of our lives. Process block cheese. Walmart doesn't bring us nothing. Everybody buys the same shit. We don't give a fuck about Walmart. Oh, you want to pick on the Americans? Americans' bullshit is not affecting Canadian individual people. It's affecting the steel industry, maybe. A little. Not much, because they still need the steel. They just pay more. It's not affecting us. You're blowing it so far out of proportion with your fear-mongering. You're worse than Zelensky with his, the Russians are coming. Donald Trump is coming with tariffs. Oh my God, we better get our guns out. Give everybody back their illegal hunting guns. Arm the Canadians. Get in the streets. Everybody get up, be angry and mad. Let's go to war with the United States. They want to put a tariff on us. Fuck them. Meanwhile, Canada has hundreds of tariffs already on you. Hundreds. You're paying through the nose for everything because of the Canadian government, not the American. The Canadian government taking advantage of us. And America sees this. They see this because the Canadian government is taking advantage of America, reducing our army to nothing when we were supposed to be meeting a GDP. NATO or allies, so much of your GDP spent on the military. No, they decimated it. And then they made it so that LGBTQ people who joined, their transition therapies would be paid for. So then suddenly every LGBTQ person in the country that wanted transition surgery joined the army because that's where it's paid for. No, you got soldiers that want to kill other soldiers in the same unit. Survivors of abuse and horrible things that were done by people that do devious things. And now you put them in uniform together and force them to shower together while somebody who's standing in the corner, giving them trauma, That guy is exactly like my abuser. That guy is just like the guy that hurt me as a kid. That guy is fucking fucked. That guy is a target. That's the way it is. Don't expect people who have survived the abuses of transgender people throughout the years to accept you. And certainly don't put the care of abused children under a rainbow flag. You fucking idiots. This country's fucked. It's gone. The Canada you know does not exist and hasn't since 1985.